This is 12, right? 12?
Yes,
12.
it is
Yes.
Okay.
12.
Hello, everybody. Is everybody ready? Is everybody live? Everybody
Yes.
hearing?
Everybody has audio and levels moving in OBS?
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah.
Microphone meteor?
Double check.
Yes, my microphone is good.
Is your audio?
Yes.
Okay. Hello,
Oh
everybody.
no, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Audio checks have failed.
1, 2, 3.
My audio did not switch to my headset, so I was hearing you from the speaker bar.
Oh.
Ah,
Uh-oh.
we all good
That's
now?
not good.
I think so. I don't think we'll have echo anymore.
Yay.
Echo, echo, echo.
It's not us if
Yeah,
there's
we
not some
just would have had
technical
echo
difficulties.
initially.
Row, row, row your boat.
I think we should be good now.
Okay. So hello, everybody, and welcome to this 11th perfectly fine and normal everyday session of D&D for In the
12.
Demon's Graph.
12.
Did I say? I said 11, didn't I?
You did
Yep.
say 11.
Literally after I said 12. See? We're
Yup.
perfect. So
Yep.
12th session. 12th session.
Welcome to the chaos.
Yes. When last we left, there was a little bit of realization as everybody woke up, and there was some bunny discussion
The
in a way.
I thought the
There was a
bunnies did
bunny
it.
interrogation for the things.
And then it
but-
just turned into a petting session.
Yep. The special bunnies do now meow in this for
Mhm.
Ganon.
It's canonic
They do.
for this.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's canonical.
Mm-hmm.
And then we progressed, and everybody ended up tasting something very sweet. Naya had an interesting memory that flowed over her, and everybody else seemed to react to it in a way. And then she made some tea, and everyone slept through the night, and it was a perfectly fine sleep.
I disappeared inside of my ring
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
and concerned all of you.
Yep.
yep.
Probably
Just-
gonna get smacked in the morning.
So just a tad, and I think that would be the perfect time for us to wake up for the day. I think I've got us where we're supposed to be on the map.
Yep.
We are here.
With
Yes.
all of our drawings.
With our wonderful D20s.
And flowers that are not accurate.
Yeah, I
And-
removed mine. I wanted to be able to read.
And so that's where we will go ahead and start today. As you all awaken, of course, Naya was already awake quite a bit earlier since she only needs 4 hours of trance, and
Yep.
was probably quite happy to actually get 4 hours of trance. She's pretty sure.
Yeah, her hair is pink again this time, so
Yes, her hair is once again pink that y'all remember from a certain dream, nightmare, something that you had. And everyone else seems to be waking up and yawning and going about their morning routines.
Mhm.
Just for everyone's information, we are missing an Althemia and a Nihon today, so their characters are pretty much going to be played by me, but for the most part it probably won't
Affect much.
make a big deal, so we
Yes.
should be okay.
they're grayed out on the overlay on my end. They're not dead. They're just not here.
They are not dead.
Yeah, grayed out means absent.
So Colfax gets up and helps a little foraging for some nice berries for breakfast. Has a little bit of trouble finding any normal berries, but finds some that look like they're edible. They are quite sweet, but they feel kind of cool to your touch. And Phelan goes about waking up and stretching and does some martial arts practice to limber up her body and get up to moving.
Is Colfax searching for bunnies again?
He does on occasion. I'm sure he does. He is quite interested in finding that bunny, especially after Midnight convinced him it's important.
The
Naya
sniffer
will
of buns.
as soon as Naya has woken up, especially since she said she's probably been up for a bit, she would have done a quick head check to make sure that Drema, Good Boy, and the fairies are still here because they were not in the dream.
Yep. Everybody was still there after you finished your
Okay.
trance.
Good.
Midnight's just kind of snuggling Princess at the moment, like kind of holding him tightly to her chest.
Poor princess.
Okay.
A little PTSD from previous morning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so that's how we begin our day. Does anybody have any special preparations or things they want me to know about as you're waking up for the day? Anything like that?
A bit of housekeeping. I have prepared my spells for the day, and I already mentioned this off stream, but for the sake of the stream, I no longer have Bane prepared. I have instead prepared Spiritual Weapon.
And when she finished her trance, Naya did
I entered
change
spring.
her. Right.
For real this time.
Yeah.
We
We
thought
hope.
it happened last time, but it happened for real this time.
We hope.
Well, I won't know until I try to use its benefits, so.
Ta-da. So, y'all get up. The day starts just fine. Do you want to go immediately to traveling, or is there anything you want prep work for anything? Again, I'm asking you because everything is pretty open-ended at the moment.
Unless anyone wants to interrogate Midnight, then I'm cool to just go to travel.
Yeah, that is a thing to point out, is that suddenly midnight appears.
It would have been 4 hours into the night.
Yeah, the same time that Naya would have have finished the trance too. So, bet the only one that might really
So
have
I would
noticed
have
would have
seen
been
it.
Naya.
Yeah, you would have seen it.
So I would probably, again, Naya's been very, very cautious so far as to not bring up oddities in front of the full group and kind of one-on-one. So she's gonna keep that trend, and
you would have had some one-on-one time during the shift change.
So she probably would have during that one-on-one time been like, "So how long have you been able to do that?"
The whole time.
Should I expect that going forward?
Only if I get really stressed out.
Okay. Good to know.
I just want to point out
It's my safe space.
Yeah, I was about to say Midnight literally has a safe space.
Yeah, which is fine. Just if she's going to be popping in and out, I may have to be prepared for that.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right. I didn't want to dream again, like the last night, so I thought I'd be safe.
Well, I think we were okay this time. Everything's fine, but I understand the caution.
Yeah, it's like its own little pocket dimension
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing that only I can go into.
Yeah. If we get to a point where we start setting traps or things around the camp, we just may want to be prepared so that you don't pop back out into a trap.
Oh yeah.
That's all. If we try to secure the
Princess can
campsite.
always ensure that.
All right. Good.
I mean, I can.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So that's really all she would have to say on that subject. She wouldn't really press on it right now.
Okay. So y'all finally wake up. Everyone is doing okay. Banana, would your character like to do the nice little good berry thing or whatever?
It's
Or
up
y'all
to you
just eating a
guys.
regular breakfast?
Sure, let's have some good berries today.
Yeah, if it doesn't
Okay.
cost you any resources to do so, then I'm fine with that.
It's a
Cost a
first level
spell slot.
spell.
Yeah.
So it's totally
That's up to you if you want to spend the spell. So
I just know it's been a bit and we skipped a few here, so I'm just reminding everybody of some stuff they have, just in case. I'm not saying
So
to
I'll-
do it. I'm just
I'll
pointing out the
go
option.
around and hand out a berry to everybody.
Okay,
Apologies if that ping sounded loud for you.
It was fine.
not too bad.
So there's
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Should be 10 of them.
Yeah. Does that include the fairies?
Well,
Uh,
there's 5.
I mean, they'll take one
6,
if offered, I'm
7,
sure.
8,
Yeah,
9,
that
10.
would be
Yeah,
that
that's
would be
exactly
everyone.
10.
Yeah, the
Okay,
only
yeah,
one that
so-
wouldn't get one is Good Boy.
No.
Princess wouldn't have one.
Oh, Princess. Yeah, Princess.
Yeah,
not Good
Princess,
Boy,
because Princess doesn't eat, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Good Boy gets one.
Yes. The sprites are more than happy to accept it. You offer them one and they immediately take it and start nomming. There's not really so much as a thank you as just a face full of good berry.
Probably dripping with berry juices.
Mm-hmm. And I know
Their
Fire
entire outfit
understands
is
the thought
stained.
behind that one.
Correct.
So y'all pack
Want to
up.
fill me in?
Say things.
Okay.
So
I'm
y'all pack
confused,
up.
but okay.
Dun, dun,
If
dun.
if if Kalina asks Naya, Naya will explain.
Yeah, if you think it is weird, totally up to you.
Yeah, if you
Just the
notice
way-
it as and think it's odd, as Kalina. Otherwise, I'll explain it offline.
Yeah, offline's good.
Okay.
I don't think Kalina's really judging it. She's just like, okay, yeah, they accept me. We're good.
Yeah, I just don't want to pull from game time with an
breakfast.
explanation of Fey lore because I can go in.
Okay, offline good, please. Yes.
Yeah.
So y'all pack up camp and make ready. Everything is in the haversack that's supposed to go in the haversack. Y'all start off walking on your journey once more towards the break of the giant spine here. Just a reminder, it is there-ish.
Mhm.
Now, the land as you're going, again, it's getting a little bit cooler. You are noticing some flora that seems a little bit abnormal for the area that y'all know. Of course, Kalina has been this way with her grandmother before, and none of these, like these flowers that y'all found before, is nothing you recognize from having been here before, stuff like that.
If
The
there's any pretty
grasses,
flowers, please point them out.
the grasses are starting to look a little more bluish instead of green. They're still obviously green, but there's definitely a little bit of a blue hue that seems to be seeping in as y'all start getting closer. Occasionally, Colfax will point out that he thinks he sees the bunny and point it out, but just as soon as anyone else looks or he looks back, it's not there. And he says it's definitely it. It has silver eyes, not the red eyes like the other one.
Oh.
And so he is on bun lookout.
Midnight goes up to him and like starts readying an Eldritch Blast. Is like, where is it again? Point it out.
I mean, I'm sure he would hesitate to point after what happened last time. Kind of hand wavy in a general direction, so you don't know exactly where to aim. And for a day, other than seeing the slight flora that seems to be a little bit off, and there are more of those flowers that you come across, so it's not obviously just near the first area where y'all were in. The day passes without incident.
Wonderful.
Huh. Interesting. So, have we come across anyone or any creatures along the road other than that bunny that may or may not be stalking us?
You have seen some birds
Okay.
that have gone overhead. Again, you've heard things like foxes in the distance and the trees and everything. So you've
And it
heard,
sounds like normal wildlife.
for the most part, yeah. You've
Okay.
not really noticed anything untowards about it or weird. You've not seen any more crystal crabs. But the air does definitely seem a little bit chillier than you're used to for this time of year. It is kind of fall, but it's definitely cooler here than what you would expect it to be, but not so cool that it's uncomfortable. You're not in fear of growing icicles out of your nose overnight.
Okay.
Icicles out of the nose. That sounds painful.
It's not below freezing temps, just a little nippy, a little chilly.
The fairies go about chitter-chattering and remarking about how the flowers that they see look really familiar from their homeland, but they're just not quite. It's like they almost want to be like they're from the Feywild, but they're not exactly. They point out some of the leaves on the trees. Most of the leaves on the trees are normal. Some of them are turning, but some of the leaves are very pink in hue or purple and very abnormally colored and maybe a little bit weirdly shaped, almost like perfectly shaped instead of, like the little sprigs or the teeth that might be on the leaf. Instead, it looks like little hearts and stuff like that.
So they're like. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. Does it seem like this is more concentrated in a certain direction, or
It definitely
just all
seems
around?
like as you all are traveling, you're noticing more and more of this slight oddness.
So it seems to be
I
stemming
have
from
a
further up.
theory, but I don't know if Naya would also have this theory. So I'm just gonna say above board.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever's
Does it
pulling the
feel
fairies and
like
stuff in.
this is someone's imagining of what the Feywild would have been, but they don't quite fully remember what the Feywild is, so they've kind of filled in the gaps, and the gaps are where it's just a little too perfect?
Could be. Who knows?
Okay.
See, my thought was if the fey creatures are getting pulled in from somewhere, the flora and fauna could be as well.
Maybe one world is seeping into the other.
Yeah, that was my thought. Because if we
Naya
have unicorns
is
and fairies that have
Like taint,
been
but not
displaced.
taint.
Is anyone saying any of this out loud other than what she said she was wondering out loud?
Naya is going to intentionally, if the fairies are remarking on how they're similar but not quite,
Uh-huh.
is going to dig out that collection of paper that we got from that explorers pack
Uh-huh.
and is going to kind of ask the fairies, well, if it's not quite right, what would make it right? And is going to attempt to draw a sketch of how they describe it.
Okay, they would describe the flowers that have the very thin petals that are kind of oddly spread apart, as in they should be, equally spread and be a lot larger like a normal flower would be to, you over on this side of things. And the trees, the hearts seem a little bit weird. It should be this shape or that shape, and Selen would actually take the thing, like sit on top of it, and try and help you describe and draw exactly what it is, and say, no, that's not right, and have you to fix
Right.
everything.
Naya's gonna do a side by side of this is what it looks like right now, and this is what it should look like.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
so can I pipe in for a second? Hearing them talk about the flowers. So, what are they called in your world? I'd like to write it in my notes.
Poor
You're
Firedale has to
still
come up with a
looking.
name off the
Yeah,
top of his
well,
head now.
I had a name last week, but I totally forgot it whenever she asked me then, and now I've forgotten it too. I believe they're called lackadaisies.
Oh, lackadaisy. Mm-hmm.
Laxadaisy or lackadaisy?
They call them lackadaisies.
And Midnight does say the stuff that I said about wondering if it was seeping out.
Okay. So Midnight does mention that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the fairy said it very well could be. I mean, we were brought in. That's part of what we're supposed to be sending the message to you all, is so you can help us get back. We were the man told us that you had the key to our return.
I want to say something, but I don't know if I want to say something.
I have a theory, but Naya does not.
I don't think Kalina would be brain enough for this theory, so I don't think I'm going to say it.
Right. It's the problem I'm having is I think I know what's going on, but Naya would not.
Yeah, again,
Out of
your
character.
characters. Go ahead.
Out of character, are we from this other world too, and should we be going back as well?
Who knows? I can't show you my hand yet.
I
Claws
think
up.
we keep going forward.
Yep, claws up. But y'all travel. It starts to get nighttime again. It is a little bit chillier than you're used to for this time of year. It's like early fall, but it's kind of feeling like it's weather-wise more mid-fall to late fall. You've in the air, you get an extra little chill every time the wind blows, and you can kind of see some clouds that happen to be over in the distance.
Are we raising in elevation?
You've actually gone up a slight bit, so yes.
Is anyone
I mean,
else
Okay.
slight for the
creeped out
distance.
by this?
The air is a little bit thinner, but y'all are heading towards a mountain range. It's just a path that's been cut through it, kind of.
Right, it's not a frequented road from the looks of it, right? It doesn't feel like we should have encountered people by now.
Not now.
Okay.
No, this road looks like it hasn't seen frequent use in many years.
Okay.
Because there's nothing left in Kashi to go to it.
Naya is going to be kind of cautiously keeping an ear out for any changes in the wildlife sound. So, like, if anything goes very loud or very silent,
Hmm.
she's going to be keeping an ear out for that.
I just want to look out for pretty flowers.
Oh, there are several. Like I said, there's the leaves on the trees. You haven't really noticed any other flowers that seem as off as those, but there are some flowers that are here, like next to the lackadaisies. You see a regular, like fall grass flower.
No, I think I'm just looking for distinct, unique flowers.
Yeah, you might see like a pansy here and there,
Hi, Luke.
but nothing
Welcome to the stream.
that really stands. I mean, you're 4 flowers, so let's say you see a pansy that might catch your eye.
Okay, then I will run up and pick the pansy.
And for the horticulturist and everybody out there that do flowers and everything, I apologize if I say a flower that's not supposed to be here in the fall. I'm not an expert on flowers. I apologize.
I mean, we have fey flowers that are not quite right. I think flowers that don't necessarily belong in this domain is fine.
Yeah, but I'm
Pansies
pretty
are
sure
not native to
pansies
this.
do.
It's your
region.
world.
Just
There must be
hand
something
wave it.
going on here.
It's your world. You can make up where the flowers appear and when.
Right.
So it is coming night, and those clouds are starting to look a little bit darker, and they're starting to kind of overshadow the sky, and in the far distance you hear the rumble of thunder.
Might be a good idea to try to find
Uh-oh.
somewhere to take cover. Sounds like we have a storm coming.
Would
does
this be
sound
an
like a
area
good
where we might
idea.
find like a cave or something?
You definitely can. You're closer to the mountains. It is definitely starting to get a little bit more rocky on the sides. It was a well-known road, so given enough time and effort, you might even be able to find a place where, like a way stop between the towns or anything. But that would be something that you.
Yeah, any kind of covered shelter, even if it's just like an overhang, just something.
Can somebody please roll a d20 for me?
Sure.
I will offer. Well, it's not a check yet. It's just a d20.
No, just
There you
d20.
go.
After your all's travel and stuff, especially hearing the storm coming in, you kind of start looking for shelter a little bit earlier than you probably would have, just in case. And while you don't find a built structure nearby, you do see like a clustered grove of trees, but beside of that is a large open area that looks like it might be perfect for a fire, but there's no cover
No
above.
cover, right?
Okay.
How tightly clustered is this grove of trees?
You can fit between it. It looks like a very, very small forest, as if the area around it might have been chopped down for building sometime in the past. You don't really see any stumps or anything, uh, but it doesn't seem super out of place for the area. It just looks like an offshoot, like a peninsula of land would be to an island. It just looks like a peninsula of trees that comes off of a larger forest.
Question. With our adventurers kits that we have, do we have tents?
I
I
believe
was just
some of
looking
them
for
do.
that. I don't see any on what I have.
I think some of the kits come with tents, but if they did, it would be in your
Yeah, it would be marked.
inventory. Yeah.
It'd be either in your equipment, your backpack, or if you have a pack, it would be in the pack. But I did
Nope.
not see a tent in our explorer's pack that we got. We had the bedroll, but we don't have a tent.
Right.
We do, however, have rope,
Hmm.
and we have at least one blanket that is not your special blanket. So I'm wondering if the trees are clustered close enough together, if we can kind of fashion a cover.
Go ahead and give me a survival check.
Okay. Can I guidance myself? Is that allowed? Let me check.
As long as it's any creature, not any
Touch
other
one
creature.
willing creature. I'm a willing creature, so
Yeah,
yeah.
guidance
Yep.
works on yourself.
All right, so
I'm
survival,
unwilling to give myself guidance.
and then roll 1d4. 23.
Okay, I was going to look up Colfax and have him to aid, but it sounds like you're pretty good. You do manage to find several trees that are close enough to set up a makeshift shelter with the ropes and the blanket, and you can even use some of the extra bed rolls and things that might have been available to do stuff. Some leaves, because again, some of the leaves are falling. There are some evergreen trees here, and Colfax will
Which are
go and
actually really good for coverage.
yeah, and so y'all can set up a pretty nice covered area here. You can't exactly make it windproof, but you can at least make it skyproof for the moment.
Yeah, we want to make it skyproof just because Naya's remembering that the last rainfall that got mentioned to us was crystal rain
Hmm.
and kind of doesn't want hail and is not sure it won't be hail yet. So she's just trying to stop debris landing on us, basically.
I'd offer up my bedroll as well, but not my blanket.
You don't want to cover everybody in your blanket.
She doesn't want to
I'm
damage
s-
her blanket, which is
I'm
fair.
snuggling in my blanket. How big is the blanket supposed to be?
Enough for one person. It's like a
Exactly.
bedroll size.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we have the thick quilted blanket that comes with our gear, and then we have quite a bit of rope, and then we also have a bedroll. So
And just as you get the last knot tied and the last leaf in place and the fire lit, the patters of rain start to fall on top of the large blanket and the leaves and stuff that you set up for your shelter. And as far as you can tell, the shelter seems to be holding. The
okay.
thunder is rolling in. Occasionally, you see the sky flash of lightning. Uh, on occasion, you hear a tree crack, as sometimes happens whenever storms roll through forest.
Right.
I will tell you that Naya notices that a lot of the animals are quiet.
Hmm.
With a storm rolling in, that's kind of expected.
Right, but I was specifically listening for it, so he's
Yep.
just making sure that I was told.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's
Naya,
getting
check the crystals.
Yep.
quite a bit cooler because of the rain.
Well, they're in the normal backpack now. They're not in the magical backpack, but I will check the crystals.
Okay, you go to check the crystals, and they don't seem that much larger than the last time you checked them.
Okay. So they were likely absorbing ambient magic from the haversack. That was what I thought. And I will say that out loud.
Oh, I thought you were inferring that we might have been out for days.
Well, yes, because they were in the haversack for days. So I know what the rate of 1 day in the haversack is.
Oh, combination makes sense.
Right. I didn't know what 1 day in the normal backpack was, but I knew what 1 day in the haversack was.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't take them at the haversack until they looked like they were very dangerous level size. So then I took them out.
So the rain is falling. It's very soothing and reminiscent of a normal rainfall, which with all of the outrageous and chaotic stuff y'all have dealt with in the last few days is pretty, you know, I guess weird to your senses because you're so used to the chaotic things and like the grass turning blue. But right now with the darkness and everything, you can't really see it. So to you all right now, it just feels like you're out camping.
Okay.
Just gotta say, for me, thunderstorms would not be comforting.
That's fine. I'd assume that we are safely enough under cover that we can huddle up and have a cuddle pile essentially while the storm rolls through.
Yeah, and with the way that the trees and the roots and everything did, there's kind of a normal mound kind of in the middle where you built your structure. You
So
rolled
to
really
keep water
well,
from
and
draining.
so the water will drain away from you instead of pulling beneath where you all are. You
Right.
had a really good check. You picked a good place.
During the course of the storm, Midnight just takes her hairpin out and just is like staring into it.
Okay.
Probably
So
stares into it for a good hour and a half.
I'd
You
be
see-
wrapped up in Nenny's blanket.
You see the stars through
Mhm.
the blanket covering you. They're midnight.
Yep.
Colfax yawns and seems a little bit tired and starts mentioning, it's probably a good time for us to go to sleep. You know, how are people keeping watch tonight? The good old normal.
Yep. Sounds good. Midnight does her nightly prayers.
Naya will do the same watch setup as we did previously,
Mm-hmm.
So
but
Naya
with
trances
the
first, or
yeah. Well, before she trances, she will go ahead and she will whisper to her cameo necklace,
Mhm.
and she'll just she'll whisper, why do all these things feel like I should remember them, but they're not right?
How should I know?
I'm trying to think of a way to say it.
It's a cryptic answer, so you don't
My
have to
bad.
you can answer a question with a question. I don't have to get an actual answer I can use.
Water from a drain doesn't look like the stream.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. Um. So she was gonna ask a question just so she could use it for the day. Um. And then she will go ahead and go into her trance.
Okay, and who's got first awake watch, if any?
Midnight.
Okay, so Midnight and Princess.
Yep.
Okay, y'all go.
Mm.
Can you please have Midnight and Princess roll perception for me?
Sure can. There you go.
During your watch, you hear a yap yap of that sounds like fighting dogs or wolves far in the
Ooh.
distance. And you just happen to hear it like in between some of the thunder that's rolling in. It doesn't sound like it's nearby. It sounds like it's further up the mountain, like off to the north instead of the east that you're traveling.
Hmm.
But it's definitely something that you pick out because nearly everything else is silent other than the rain. And this happens about 3 hours into your 4 hour watch.
Okay. I keep an eye out to make sure it's not getting closer.
Okay.
Or an ear out or whatever.
So you keep an ear out, and through the rest of your watch, you don't really notice it. It's hard to tell exactly what it was other than just fighting wolves in the distance. So
Okay.
your time passes, and Naya awakens from her trance.
I let her know about the wolves.
Okay. Naya will keep an ear out for the wolves if they get closer.
Is Midnight going to suck herself up, or is she going to
Not
stay
this
out?
time. She's gonna stay
Not
out.
this time. Okay. So as you are awake and starting your watch, here Naya, uh, Drema, with a slight yawn, walks up next to you and tugs on the hem of your shirt.
Okay. I will give Drema my attention.
She seems like she's fidgeting her hands. She's wringing them a little bit, not aggressively, but she looks like, what's the word? She looks a little bit anxious about something, and her eyes kind of dart from you to Princess, who is still, keeping very much awake, and the others that are laying there, and then she looks up at you, and her eyes like meet yours, and she has the slightest of little, what's the word, moisture in her eyes, and she tugs on your shirt again.
Who is this?
Drema.
Drema? Okay.
Drema. So Naya is going to.
Bunnies!
Now you
Yes.
hear the bunnies in the distance.
Yes. Naya is gonna glance over at Princess. Is Princess looking at us, or is Princess looking elsewhere? Meteor?
Where am I looking, Firedale?
That's what I'm asking you. Drema has just walked up to Naya and tugged on her
Is
shirt.
Princess paying attention
and-
to Drema or not?
Yeah, and Princess is keeping watch because you said Princess pretty much keeps
probably
watch all night.
notices, but isn't staring or anything.
Maybe looks over when they approach and then looks away again.
Yeah.
I think we're getting invaded by bunnies.
Possibly.
The bun
Okay.
apocalypse. Colfax is very happy in his sleep. Y'all are just hearing Colfax's dream.
So
Okay.
Naya is going to hug Drema
Uh-huh.
and kind of pull her close, and then whisper in her ear. Do we need to talk elsewhere?
There, you feel the slightest nod against your shoulder there as you're hugging her.
All right, so I will let Princess know that I need to step away for a minute,
Yeah.
and I will walk off with Drema to see what's going on and go a little bit away. It's not very far, but
Okay. The rain is coming down, but it's not a torrent at this point. So, you'll get a little bit wet if you walk out from beneath the structure that you've made. So are you wanting to go like stand next to a tree in this thunderstorm, or out in the rain,
I think
or
we
just like
still
off
want
to
to
the side?
be in cover. I just want to be off to the side.
Okay.
so where we can whisper and not immediately be in earshot, or I can
Okay.
whisper because Drema supposedly can't talk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you go off to the side, and we'll say it's like over at the corner where it's just near the edge of the overhanging cover. And I would like a perception check from everybody other than Naya, please.
Okay.
Even though I'm asleep.
Yes.
Well, Midnight's thoroughly distracted.
Midnight's snoring.
Let's see, I gotta go over here.
Midnight thinks she hears a bunny meowing in the distance.
Perception from Phelan.
Faye's not paying attention either.
Naya's cunning plan of being all touchy-feely so that she can surreptitiously whisper into ears is coming to fruition.
Neither does Colfax.
Okay, Princess has a 16.
Princess also knew we were leaving because I said something, but
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you go off to the side, and as you're kind of leading her there, she kind of makes her way in front of you so that you're kind of between
yeah,
her
blocking.
and
Mhm.
Princess. And she still looks extremely anxious and, without even needing to roll for information here, she looks somewhat scared, is the best way I can say it. Like she wants to say something, but she's not
Princess?
sure how. And so she just looks up at you again.
She's scared of
And-
Princess?
Huh?
I was just talking to myself saying, is she scared of Princess?
And she opens her mouth, and you see just the slightest hint of red ember on her neck near the gem, and she immediately closes her mouth.
Right, she can't communicate whatever it is.
And then she looks up to you and makes complete eye contact with you. And then she raises one hand up to her eyes, and she closes her eyes, and she shakes her head. And then she opens her eyes and looks at you kind of curiously, and she's kind of shifting from one foot to the other
So
and looking at
Naya,
you somewhat hopefully.
Don't close your
Naya-
eyes.
oh, no, Naya can think of one immediate thing with the fear of Princess, and her first instinct is she is worried because Princess never sleeps. That's her first thought.
Are you gonna vocalize this?
Yeah.
So you
Princess
you
just
ask her
has,
if
like, a
she's afraid
scorpion-
because Princess never sleeps, and she looks just the slightest bit frustrated, but not
So no.
Oh right. I
not
know
at-
what the other
and-
thing is.
and
Naya just didn't want to
shakes her
verbalize
head.
it.
And
As
Go
you
ahead.
guys look over at Princess, his like scorpion-like tail comes out and like scratches his head, then disappears again.
Yep, that's fine.
and she's looking
Excuse
at
me.
you hopeful, and she repeats the motion then again, this time a lot less anxious in her motions, as in it's not as slow, and her hand isn't as shaky, as she raises her fingers to her eyes and she closes her eyes. And I may not have said it clearly before, she's actually taking her fingers and closing her eyes with her
Oh
fingers.
no, I'm aware. Naya's aware. Naya's going to sigh very deeply.
and then she'll open her eyes again and shake her head very, what's the word, adamantly, vigorously in the negatory.
So no
And then she will
sleep.
look at you very hopefully.
So Naya is going to sigh very deeply. Naya's interpretation is, are you asking me to sleep?
She shakes her head no.
Okay, good. I don't like sleeping.
Is she asking? Is she saying
she
somebody
holds-
put her to sleep?
She holds up her hand and she taps herself on the chest with her index finger.
Are you unable to sleep?
She hesitates for a moment and takes a deep breath and then nods her head.
Okay.
And then she holds up both hands and makes a 0 symbol again.
No sleep.
So you haven't slept at all. Okay.
She nods
For-
to that.
Since we awoke, or even before that?
Midnight talking in her sleep.
This is me you're talking about. Might be something worth
So-
asking for.
You've slept 0 days.
She gives the slightest of nods.
Since
as
we
if
went to the cave?
she gives the slightest of nod again,
Okay.
as if she's somewhat ashamed of the answer. She's got a little tear forming in her eye again.
That's
and
probably not very good for you. Are you tired at all?
she gives the slightest shake of her head.
Okay. Well
So she
then.
doesn't get tired.
Undead. So she's like Princess, is what she was insinuating.
Well, she doesn't want Princess to hear whatever this is, or see whatever this is, because she's using me to body block.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So what are you going to say?
do
Just
you
the
want me
yeses and
to
nos?
tell anyone?
She fidgets with that question, and she looks like she's debating with herself. And
Is there anyone you don't want to know?
her head tilts, and she like bites her lower lip and kind of looks around and fidgets with her hands and then looks back up at you, and she shakes her head slightly no, just the smallest of motions.
Okay. Well, if you're not going to be able to get any rest, perhaps we should find something to help you occupy your time. I'm only out for 4 hours a night, so you're certainly welcome to visit with me.
Create a sign language.
And I'm going to pull out the let's see. Did we pass the dice over to Midnight, or is that still just in the generic kit?
The dice.
Or Colfax has it. Okay. The bone dice.
I was gonna say I don't have any bone dice listed in
Yeah,
my.
Colfax
so.
has it. Okay, so I was looking at what we have. So I'll pull out the glass beads that we've previously passed a few to Kalina to gift to the fairies, the pixies. The sprites, whichever descriptor we're using for them now. And I am going to kind of at a spot in the ground carve a couple of like just push a couple of circles into the ground, like little holes in the ground, little dips.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if anyone's familiar with Mancala.
I actually know the game.
Yep.
We're actually going to do a impromptu game of Mancala here
Hey.
with the glass beads.
Not
now,
a clue.
Firedale.
Uh-huh.
Since Princess never sleeps and is always
Uh-huh.
on watch,
She
would
likely would have
Princess
noticed.
have noticed that Drema never sleeps either?
My guess is
had
she
you roll
probably
for
tries
it
to
and
fake
no.
it.
Oh, okay.
That was the roll.
That was
Okay.
the roll. Okay.
She probably tries to fake it.
She probably does. She probably
Naya,
turns and lies down facing.
Naya noticed something yesterday when Drema and Good Boy yawned that seemed like it wasn't
Oh.
It
quite a
was
proper
faked,
yawn.
right?
And then Naya actually said something to Drema, and
I see. Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, Naya's getting the secrets because Naya keeps picking up on things and
Yep.
bringing it to their attention.
You have good perception.
Naya has
She
very good
does.
insight. And I have
And,
decently good deception too, so if I need to keep the secret, I possibly could.
So
But
you sit down to play this game while the rain is going, and Princess is on watch, and you're on watch, and she seems a lot more at ease, but occasionally she kind of looks up at you somewhat expectantly, but it's hard to tell why she's not making any other signs or anything outside of that. And then she'll look like back down and then go back to playing the game as if she's just thinking to herself.
I think we need to create a sign language for Drema.
well, I mean, we tried to have her write, and the things that she tried to say, she could not write. She could not write or draw.
She
Like she
doesn't
was
seem
stopped.
to be allowed to communicate in any way, other than like yes or no head shakes.
And even then, I think we gotta have to be very careful what topics we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Is a thing we don't know what are the trigger topics yet. But it does seem like, and Naya would have picked up on this, that there are certain conversations where when you go in a certain direction, she cannot confirm or deny.
But having creating a language so she can communicate in other means might be helpful.
I mean, we
make
have
a
ways of
symbol
her
for
writing
bird. I thought
if
she
she's
didn't know how
allowed
to write. I thought she didn't know how to.
No, I think we just touched on a topic she's not allowed to discuss.
She
last
went
time.
to the basic school with you all before,
Yeah.
Okay.
especially Naya would know this, and
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she
has
grew
the
up with
knowledge
Naya.
about it.
know
She
that
was
she
just
can write.
Right.
Okay.
prevented.
Yeah, it was just she couldn't discuss that particular topic.
Something is
Something
preventing
prevented.
her. Yeah.
Correct.
Yep, from communicating in some way about something. Again, y'all have the information that you have, so that's it.
Yeah.
I still think general communication would be made easier though if we created a language for her.
Yeah.
And so the night passes somewhat without incident. She manages to win a game or two, and
Good.
you manage to win some. Beyond that, the day starts and it's still raining. It's definitely a very light, misty drizzle at this point. There's no more thunder, but the sky is, very gray and cloud covered. And so it's kind of a dreary day.
Out of curiosity, Firedale, did Drema partake of the tea when we made the tea the other night?
I believe you offered her some,
I did. Did she take
and
it?
she did drink.
Okay.
If it does anything for her though is a different story
Correct.
that we don't know.
Correct.
Because she's also eaten berries.
Yep.
And food.
Well,
So
and
she-
we saw what happened when she quote unquote died in front of
Yeah,
us
she
and then
she,
came
she
back.
stopped breathing and then came back.
Yeah.
So she's probably just partaking in things to not seem off,
Mhm.
is my guess.
Well, and
Quite
we've noted
potential.
that nobody else can see the gem in her neck.
But us.
Yeah. So. Right.
And Mr. Dwarf Dude didn't recognize her whatsoever.
Mhm.
Which
That
was
is
also
correct.
off. My brain
Especially
is
because he
blanking on
was a
his name.
regular Alfred, if I remember right.
Yes, there. Thank you. Uncle
Yeah.
Alfred.
Because he was definitely somebody who was around town and knew people, and people knew him. So yeah, at the time
And
that
if he
definitely
knew
seemed
Naya,
weird to
he
you
should
all.
have known Drema.
And he didn't. Yeah. Very strange.
Let's see. So everyone awakens.
Yeah. So
Yawns.
Naya will go ahead and give Drema a heads up. I'm going to tell them this morning, unless you indicate that you don't want me to.
She looks a little fidgety or anxious or nervous.
They won't
So,
judge.
and
If they do
and
judge, they'll have to talk to me.
she nods her head, and then she like stands behind you, and she's keeping grasps on your shirt. Right now you're a lifeline tether at the moment,
Right.
and she tugs on your shirt whenever you say, "I'm going to tell others," and she points to Good Boy. We'll say this happened right before everyone started waking up. She points to Good Boy and shakes her head.
Don't
He
tell
doesn't
Good Boy.
either?
Oh, Good Boy does.
Does Good Boy also not sleep?
She seems conflicted as she's thinking to herself for that, and she shakes her head, then nods her head, then shrugs.
So you're not sure what's going on with Good Boy?
She points to herself and then back to Good Boy.
I'm wondering if they're connected.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they formed essentially a familiar bond is what I'm thinking. Of some description.
And then she goes back to being quite nervous, but she looks hopefully nervous.
It'll be okay. We want to help, and I would hate for you to be bored every night.
And she gives you the biggest hug,
Okay.
and then immediately hides behind you.
So as we're all setting up for breakfast or our daily Goodberry.
Yep, everybody awakens and sees
Oh.
a very a Drema that
Whichever way we
is
want to do this, yeah.
quite close and behind to Naya the entire time as y'all are getting ready and awakening.
Firedale DMs.
That's an I don't know, kind sir.
Okay.
So Naya will kind of broach the subject carefully.
Uh-huh. So, how is Naya going to do this? What is Naya doing? Is Naya going to stand up on a soapbox and say, or
Naya is going to hug Drema close,
uh-huh,
physically touching Naya, holding her in place so that she doesn't run. In case she is inclined to run.
she's definitely vibrating a little bit.
Yeah, she's gonna keep her from running. And she is going to be so Drema and I had a discussion of a sort last night. And I don't know if we may want to
Oh.
For just the slightest of instance before the hug, she shrinks quite a bit back from you, but then seems to welcome it. And what was the question?
Are you
Are you
okay
sure
though?
you're okay though? Yeah.
And she gives the slightest of nods against you.
I'll nuzzle into her and be like, I just want to make sure you're okay.
And she seems a little bit relieved at that type of reaction.
I just
Okay.
want Drema to be okay.
Midnight gives her a hug too.
Oh, she seems quite welcoming of that too. And after the second other person hugs her, she seems like,
Less scared.
yeah,
Calming down a little bit.
a sudden wave of relief washes over her, and
Naya's
she
grip is gonna adjust a little bit so that
Yeah.
if she starts to kind of wilt, to hold her up.
she seems a lot more relaxed now, as if it's definitely been something pent up with her for a while. She's still standing, but she's not vibrating anymore, and she is
Right.
leaning on you quite a bit more than she was before.
That's fine. Naya's gonna be as supportive as she can.
Be the tree. Be the
Mhm.
roots.
And
Mhm.
she starts crying a little bit and doing the sniffle and just lets out a crying sob of, like, I'm glad it's over,
Just
or whatever.
relief, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe that other than to use words like that, but it's
I'm
that,
gonna
the down breaks, and there it is.
grab her hand with one of mine and then wipe the tears from her eyes with the other one. You don't need to be afraid. We're all here for each other, Drema. We're gonna
She
support you too.
she nods her head. She sniffles and does it.
And I'll look at Naya and be like, right, Naya?
That's right. We're all friends here.
She nods her head enthusiastically.
Bestest of friends.
And she seems quite relieved at this, and and takes a deep breath and then lets it out slow, and she sucks up the last of her tears and the little bitty bit of snot that was starting to, like, leak down. And she wipes her face with her shirt, and other than being a little bit red around the eyes and the nose, she looks considerably better than she has the whole day yesterday. Because ever
So,
since,
Mhm.
she's seemed kind of withdrawn since that moment after Naya said something.
Panicked and worrying about how to tell her.
worried about the reaction. Yeah.
Are we
How do
gonna
you
think
tell?
she's weird?
I'm glad y'all understand me so well.
Naya, when she said that comment about we're all friends here, would have snuck a glance at
Princess?
Lannis, Salin, and yeah,
It's always
Nails.
that third one, isn't it,
Nails.
Nels?
Nails.
Nails.
They're
I
nodding
just
enthusiastically with
yeah.
the thought, with the words
Okay.
as they were coming out.
Okay.
And so that happens, and then she's like looking at you all, and everybody's all huddled up. And then just a moment later, Kalina, you feel something extremely cold touch the small of your back.
I'll jump and shiver. And look behind me like, what was that?
You see a good boy that's sniffing at your back, trying to nuzzle his head in.
Oh, good boy. You scared the crap out of me. Your nose is freezing.
Midnight looks like she was just about to fire off an Eldritch Blast.
At Kalina
And then-
jumping.
Yeah. And then
Yep.
just slowly
Midnight's
lowers her
coping
hand.
mechanism needs work.
A little bit. He's a little trigger happy. She's a little trigger happy.
Mhm. Danger,
turn and-
Eldritch Blast.
I'll pet good boy on the head. Warn a girl next time, please. Cold boops to the back are cold.
Both Drema and Good Boy nod.
Okay. Naya will take a note of that.
So I'm just gonna take initiative and do like a good berry
Okay.
Mhm.
for the day.
Sure.
And I'm gonna immediately give one to Good Boy and give him pats on the head.
He
Hand one
seems
out to
quite happy
Drema.
about that.
Does
And
Good
then
Boy have the tail wags?
Uh-huh. Big old broad shoulder, chest shoulders, little bitty hind leg shoulders, and the big tail
His
in the back
red
just
fur.
whopping
the
side to
whole
side to
butt
side.
just
Yep.
going.
Yeah, the whole butt's
Butt
wiggling.
butt on the ground and the thumping tail noises.
Yeah.
The fluffy red
So-
fur.
And then I'll end up passing one to Drema and then start passing it out to the rest. Breakfast for all!
And Drema looks up at Naya and then the berry and does the slightest of head shakes and then eats the berry.
Okay, Naya will note that too.
Do I notice this?
If you were watching, you would have seen the slight head shake and the look to Naya. I mean, everybody's gathered around, so she
So
didn't
she doesn't
attempt to
eat
hide
either?
it any. She just
She
kind of
doesn't need to eat, yeah. That's what I
She
So
got
just-
from
I'll
that.
just tilt my head and voice it. Did you just say you don't need to eat either?
she immediately shirks and then takes a breath and then with the weakest of little motions nods her head and then she holds up one hand and starts shaking it wildly and then rubs her tummy.
Oh, she's very
So
hungry,
you-
but she doesn't eat. Or it still
Are
tastes
you
good, but she
hungry?
doesn't require it? Doesn't help? I don't know.
Do you still get like the tummy aches when you want food but you don't need the food?
She nods her head.
Okay.
Does eating food help the tummy aches?
She nods her head to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Then we
So
will keep
still
feeding you
eating.
food.
Yes, I will keep feeding you, Drama. Even though you say you don't need it, I'm going to do it because it's going to make me feel better.
Yeah, but we don't want your tummy to ache if it doesn't have to.
Yes.
She seems relieved again and is quite a little bit happier now and fights back another little sniffle, but she manages to keep the dam from breaking this time.
Okay.
And the rain lets up a little bit. It's now, like mid to late morning as y'all have had your breakfast and the discussion and there's patches of little misty rain and then it'll let off, as like holes in the clouds have
Yep.
come and go, but you can still definitely see the rain clouds in the distance and everything else. The thunder has definitely completely died down. Now it's just little mists of rain every now and then.
So Naya will attempt to, depending on how much of the blanket got soaked due to all the rain, and how much maybe clearing up as it dries into sunlight when sunlight hits again. We'll start trying to remove some of the water.
Yeah, we'll have to try and bring it out.
Once there's enough of the water removed, she's going to gesture for a Drema to hold a corner, and she's gonna hold a corner, and she's gonna ask Kalina to hold a corner.
And just start twisting.
And no, we're gonna do that thing where
The shake.
you had the parachute thing in gym
Mhm.
class,
Yep.
where you just kind of fling it up in the air and then you bring it back down.
To
We're gonna do
try
that.
and dry it out
Try
as
and
much as you can.
shake the water
Yeah.
out.
Shaking water out that way.
Okay, she's more than happy to hold a hand and she seems quite entertained with this
Yep.
going on.
Yep, just the up and down, just for fun, and to get
And
some of the water out.
Good Boy jumps beneath it at one time when it's going down and it lands on his back before it goes back up in the air. And
Princess sits right in the center.
Yep.
Yep. Let's do parachute, princess.
Yes.
You just keep launching Princess up in the air,
Yes.
woohoo.
and
Okay,
he slowly floats back down.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question then. I want to see if I can pull Naya aside quietly,
Mhm.
with nobody else really noticing, and whisper to her, "Can I have an extra bead?"
Of course. And she'll pass another bead.
I want to make a surprise for Drema.
Okay. You want a particular color?
Do you know what favorite color for Drema?
You would probably know this because you did live with so long. Drema's
Mm-hmm.
favorite color is green. Her
Okay.
every shirt she ever wore, every sundress, everything like that was either fully green or had green for the major color on it.
Yeah, so I'll give you a colored bead the color of like grass green.
But the
I'll
grass
nod and
around
be
here
like,
is blue.
thank you.
Well, not this grass, but like or
Normal
flower stem
grass.
green, you know.
Hmm.
The living things green. Chlorophyll green.
At midnight, you get just a little whisper in the back of your mind that says probably not.
Okay.
As if
Mysterious.
a choice has been decided at some point in some time.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, I just had to point that out to midnight because
It's
of
all good.
all the goings ons.
It's all
Yep.
good. We know nothing. But yeah, so Naya's just gonna continue to do like little silly things like that because I mean we were all kids,
Hmm.
you know. We're gonna do fun kid things even
And I
if
mean,
we
5
do
out of 6 of you
look
still are at heart.
look kind of older now, but we can still have fun, right?
Yeah,
So
these kids, they grow up so fast these days.
I mean I don't pick my grown up name for a long time, so
Dun, dun, dun. So there's some nice festivities, and y'all seem to really brighten her day. And I don't know, how does all this playfulness and everything make everyone else feel?
I've gotten a little bit more pep in my step today.
Yeah.
I feel
But
like
then I am a girl on a mission.
Colfax would probably be taking turns throwing Princess in the air and also diving underneath.
He probably would because Colfax is very playful and
Yep.
likes to have a good time. I could see that. I definitely could. And I could see Phelan over to the side just nodding her head while she's watching and
I
kind
could
of
see her
enjoying.
putting her dragon plushie on top for a ride.
Yep. And that way, if it goes too far away, Princess can retrieve.
Yep.
Yep.
So good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
As you're trying to parachute and dry out the blanket
The
and
blanket.
everything
Yep.
else, the sky starts to brighten and the dark clouds start to separate more until they're a distant memory, and there's light clouds and not really any sign or smell of rain in the air where you are now. Definitely seems like it's passed you over uh, by this time now. And so we'll say it's like what would normally be, 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning with all the discussion and all the extra playtime and everything else.
Yep. So are we getting closer?
Yeah, where are we
Would
at now? Because the you are here has not moved
would ask this
in 2
question to
days.
the sprites to know where we're going.
The sprites would say, yes, we're very close. And then they point at a distant tree line. And now that it's brighter in the day and the rain is gone, you can see that further up the road, the trees go from being auburn and you know maroon and everything outside of the evergreens, and they go almost silver. There's like a line,
Interesting.
a straight, what's the word? A hard
There's
line where the trees suddenly seem to change.
right. It's not transitional. It is a hard division.
Right. You might see some silver leaves closer, but you're not really close enough to see those, but you definitely see where the trees change.
Anything
Interesting.
pinging recognition for me with the silver trees?
You get a strong sense of remembrance as if you should recognize it, but you don't.
Okay, but no gut, good, bad, stay away.
No.
Okay.
Other than, that's really weird.
Okay. Also, I have to know, Firedale.
Uh-huh.
Did the 3 get their turn to be parachuted?
I'm sure they did.
Okay.
I'm sure they got more than one turn.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I'm sure at
question.
one time even one of them offered to grab a corner and then immediately got flung up themselves because they couldn't hold on to it.
Probably laughing.
Mhm.
Yep.
So as
All
we're
right.
packing up the rest of the stuff, I want to see if I can stealthily take a piece of rope out of my bag and cut a piece off, and then shove it in my pocket without anybody noticing.
I'm sure you probably can, especially since everything else is going on, and since it's totally and entirely stuff on your side of things. You know, it's your rope,
And you had the
you
bead on your person already before you did
right.
this, yeah?
Yep.
So it's easily something you could turn your back to everybody and literally hide it in front of you. No sleight of hand needed.
Okay.
And Naya's probably thoroughly distracting Drema anyway, trying to kind of keep her spirits up.
She definitely seems a lot more attached to you at the moment, Naya.
Yeah.
You know, you have made her best friend even more of her best friend. And so you manage to get the blanket as dry as you can without, actually hanging it out to dry now that the rain has stopped. And
Yep. And then making a game out of it. Yep.
yeah. So it's as dry as it can be at the moment without, actually just laying it out to dry.
Yeah, that's boring.
Which we can possibly just do if we stop for lunch or something. Just lay it out, let it dry more.
The
Use it
sound
for a picnic and just avoid the damp spots.
the sounds of animals kind of come back into the forest as the rain clears up and you hear some birds singing
And
and
some bunnies meowing.
yep, bunnies in the distance meowing. And I will say, now that the rain has stopped and the sun is shining down rather greatly, uh, along the ground, you see these flower petals that are kind of pushing up out of the ground, out of the dirt, and have opened up slightly. And each one has three little, is it pistils? The things that stick up. I always forget. I don't remember my anatomy of a flower.
Oh,
But
yeah. Yeah, the pistols.
yeah, and on these three pistils kind of wave in the air against the wind, and they've got like a blue liquid that's just sitting on them as they're waving them around. And these have sprung up all along the ground in places. Their petals are kind of purple blue.
So Naya is going to crouch down and kind of cup a flower in her hand, but not picking it. And it's going to be, you're awfully pretty. Is it okay if my friend collects you?
Oh, did
It
you find
doesn't
something interesting to eat there? Oh.
It doesn't seem to say anything to you, however, as you lean down to look at it, the three pistols with the liquid on top of them offer them to you. And one of the fairies kind of looks down. One of the sprites looks down and see what you're doing, and says, "Oh, those look like dew flowers."
Okay, I
And
will.
almost immediately dives down to one of them and grabs the pistol and pulls it off and starts licking the top of it.
Okay. That answers that
I'm
question
going
on
to
if they are
pick some.
edible. Yep, I knew Kalina was going to, so I was going to ask first. Even if they can't quite understand, because I'm not using
Midnight
speak
does
with
the same.
plants.
I'm not
These
going to try eating them though, but I'm going to try and pick some.
these bloom in our area right after a rain. It's interesting to see them here.
Right when there was no sign of rain here.
It rained last night.
It rained where we were.
Yeah.
But we're still in the area, aren't we?
We moved out of the area of the rain. There was no scent of rain on the air when we got into this area.
Yeah, the rain has passed. It did pass through here, I should point out.
Okay.
Okay,
You know,
I
it
was
did
gonna
come
say,
from this
that'd be very
direction where y'all are
strange.
going.
Okay. That was necessary.
That may have been a miscommunication on my part. I
Yeah.
apologize.
It was a little confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Naya will also go ahead and accept one of the pistols with the dew.
If you decide to take a lick, it is very sweet. Definitely doesn't taste like the tea you did. It tastes like a. Has anybody ever had the dew off of a honeysuckle
No.
No.
or the? Dang, y'all need to
I've
get
eaten
out
clover
more.
before.
Despite what you may think based on my character choices, I have not consumed flowers.
Honeysuckles are awesome.
I've eaten clover. Is that anything close?
Not sure,
I've
but it
eaten
tastes. It's just like a very sweet honey-like flavor, but it's not
Yeah.
honey. It's just like sweet water.
Yeah,
Is how
so
it
like
tastes.
eating clover blossoms. Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually quite delicious. Not very nutritious. I mean, licking one doesn't fill you up, but
It's
kind of reminds you of
essentially a sugar water shot.
right, pretty much. Very, very
I
tiny one.
wonder if we should vial some.
We could. Got a couple of vials left. Not very many at this point. A lot of them are taken up. We may need to use up what's in our vials before we can fill them more.
We need to
Yeah.
figure out how to get rid of them.
I'm at least gonna pick an extra one so that I can press into my book after. I
Okay.
think I'm gonna double Nana's book as a flower pressing book.
Okay. You can perfectly do that. Are you going to clean the dew off of the pistols first before you press it in, or are you going to leave it in liquid at all?
I'm gonna clean it off for the one
Okay.
that I'm pressing.
Because wet between pages probably not a good idea.
That gets
Yeah.
moldy.
I will also dig out the vial of crystal shards, and I kind of want to keep an eye on them as we're in this area.
As you pull out the vials, you notice one of them, the cork has gotten a little bit loose.
Okay. Looking for another container to put it in.
Yeah, the cork is a little bit loose. I'm assuming you would actually take it out to look at it.
Yeah, I would take the vial out and look at it. I would not open the vial unless I was
Okay.
sure that I could put the content somewhere else first.
Yeah. One cork looks like it's slightly pushed out. I mean, it's still in the vial, but it definitely looks like it's been pushed out a little bit. And the longest crystal that's inside of it, looking into the side of the vial, you can see that the sharp point of one of the crystals has pushed itself up into the cork.
Okay, so lots of magic here.
Are you sure it's safe to bring these with us?
I don't think it is. I
No.
think I might want to go out of the
Little too
radius and
cold.
set them down somewhere safe.
But are we gonna infect the land around us by doing that?
If we
Yes.
can get them into a container and put them somewhere that their progression is slowed, I think it's okay. But we don't want to put them near this area at all. Near any of the magic.
Naya, can you give me an intelligence check, please?
Sure. Can I
Or
guide myself?
everybody. Yes.
I
Everybody give me an intelligence check since this has been
will guide
discussed.
myself because I am not very intelligent.
Did that go through for me?
Or I guess it'd be an intelligence save.
Nope.
No, what would it be? No, it
You
should
want
just
an
be
actual check?
intelligence.
Yeah,
How
unless
can you roll an intelligence check on here? Oh, never mind. I figured
you
it out.
you click on under intelligence and you have a little
Yeah.
roll button.
I'm gonna use my
My
Stargazer
1d4 is not gonna help.
pin to give me advantage.
6. Like I said, Naya's not very intelligent. Very wise, not very
Nat
intelligent.
20!
Yeah, nice. So Kalina and Colfax and Midnight pretty much all three pop up at the same time of it's not breaking the glass, it's just pushing the cork out. And you can look in, that's pretty much what Colfax says, and you can see inside the largest of the crystals is pushed right up against the glass, but it's definitely not piercing through it.
Okay, so if we can find something to seal it in, like really seal it, then it should stay
I wonder
contained.
if it was fully encased in glass, if it would stop growing once it filled the space. That'd be kind of neat. Naya's not saying this because Naya's not smart enough to have that thought.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of intelligent people, don't we?
Yet I say I'm a dumb bun.
-1, 0, 0, 0.
Like I said, Naya's very wise.
Would prestidigitation be enough, like, since it can, like, instantly light or snuff out a candle or torch or small campfire, so it can
But we
create
can't use magic on it.
flame,
Right,
would it be
magic
enough to
on or near
melt
it would trigger.
glass?
No.
Well, we have farrier's tools.
You can use it to light a fire, but you can't make the fire hot enough to be a forge.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was
That's
thinking
something
if we
that you would have to do yourself.
I was thinking if we put the two openings of the bottle together and then fused them.
Oh, there's a thought. We might be
Yeah.
able to weld them together with the farrier's tool and some fire.
Yeah, if we have that, that'd be great.
We have the farrier's tools.
That would seal it in.
Because that gives us clinchers and a hammer.
Yeah.
And iron nails.
You would just need to find something that could get hot enough to melt the glass.
Yeah.
Well, or something that we could put between the two ends of the glass that would melt and then solidify.
Seal.
Mm-hmm. Also true.
I don't think wax is quite enough to do that. Naya's gonna pull out one of the glass beads from the pouch and just kind of look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a grenade.
And look from the bead
I
to
don't think that's
the
a good
vial.
idea.
And from the bead to the vial.
Uh-huh. Roll me a D100 if you would, please, for Naya.
Okay.
Ball bearings.
95.
One of the beads, if you turn it right, looks like it would be a pretty, what's the word? Firm fit for the end of the vial if you turn it on its side so the hole is not facing in to out.
Naya will pop the cork and attempt to do that.
Okay, you pop the cork and you see the little part where it poked into the cork. You manage to push the bead in just fine. The crystal inside snaps a little bit as you push the bead in, like where the cork originally gave, the bead doesn't. And it seems okay at the moment.
Does it seem like it's pretty snug? It's not going to come loose?
It definitely seems like it's a pretty firm fit.
Okay.
It's like a press fit. I always forget what word that is.
Yep.
Friction fit.
Friction
is that what
fit.
it is?
Yeah.
Then if you wanted to get the bead back out now, you would have to work pretty hard and probably break
That's
either
fine.
the bead or the vial.
That's fine.
If you push it in any harder, you'll break the vial, but it seems like it's a pretty firm, pretty
So
good.
I'll attempt to do that for the one that was immediately a danger.
Okay.
I did kind of want to bring at least one of the shards in so that Banyan could look at it.
Mm-hmm.
That was my hope, was he might know what's going on if we can show him.
Here's a
but-
question. Do we have any spare metal that we can possibly sacrifice tomorrow morning?
Metal?
Metal.
Not really.
I mean, yeah, I have some silver and gold.
We have
I
a
have
pouch
ball
of iron
bearings.
nails.
I have ball bearings.
We have iron.
Druids are allowed to switch their spells out overnight, correct?
Yes.
I have the ability to heat
Prepared
metal.
spells.
Oh.
So you could actually use all these iron nails.
and create a seal.
Yeah. We also have a copper chalice inlaid with silver that you could melt down pieces of, ideally, as well.
Nails would probably be a better bet.
The nails are smaller. They're going to be easier to work with.
But if worst comes to worst, I could heat metal and create a seal.
Well, wouldn't the ball
Because it
bearings be
says-
better for that? You could stick as many ball bearings as you want and heat all of them up, and they would like fuse together.
Yeah,
Theoretically.
because it says choose a manufactured metal object such as a metal weapon or a suit of heavy armor, and
Well,
I
nails
can
and ball
cause it
bearings would
to-
both be worked metal, so that would count.
Yep.
I can cause the object to glow red hot.
Heat metal.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it gets very stuff hot, but that'll be a rule of cool thing. I will happily let that happen for something super small like a
Yeah,
nail.
normally it wouldn't
Yeah.
melt the metal. It would just superheat it to the point where it burns whatever's in contact.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but could we have
but
it
rule of
super
cool.
hot?
Like I
Could we
said,
have
I'm
it-
fine with that.
He's going to
I'm
rule
good
of
with
cool
that.
it.
Yeah.
We could
'cause-
superheat it till we could mold it, right?
Right. That's a very interesting use and idea behind it. And for something that's very small, it doesn't take a lot of heat to get it to that point, like something large. You know, so I wouldn't let you make a sword with it. But to melt the nail down, I don't see any major problem with it for this use because you have enough time to do it.
But
It's
I
also
would
a
have to do
high-level
it
spell.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's my second level, so
That's fine. The other vial
Mhm.
is because I had 2 vials. Remember, because I spread it across the 2 vials when it looked like it was going to risk the
Yep,
integrity of a
she
single
split them
vial.
up. Yep.
How does the other vial look? Do I need to do a similar thing here?
I
The
think we
other
need to seal
vial-
both.
Kind of looks like it's, has expanded some, but not a lot, just like this one did. And it's just, overnight and stuff. It's definitely poked into the cork, and this cork is, they were tightly fit onto it when you press them in because you didn't want any of it to leak out. So,
So I'm going to wrap up both of these vials very carefully
mhm.
so that I can, if something does happen and they open, that we're not going to have crystal shards on the ground. They'll be
Okay.
contained.
Okay. Duly
And we will carry
noted.
on.
Carry on,
Okay.
carrying on.
I'm gonna take a second. I need to bathroom really bad. I'll be right back.
As Kalina slightly makes her way over to the side of the road.
Behind a tree.
As rabbits do. So does anybody else have any thoughts of the goings on?
Nope.
Give me just a moment, please. Look something up. I apologize. It's going to take me a minute. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves for a moment. Tell me how you're doing this travel today. How the weather feels.
Yeah, Naya is in her spring phase, of course, with the pink hair. So, as y'all may have already noticed over the course of the stream, she's in a very playful mood, very cheery. Some of that is trying to cheer up Drema, but a lot of it is just she's in spring. This is what she is when she's in spring.
Yep.
So, lots of playful, lots of turning things into games, and not really lingering on serious topics more than they need to be lingered on.
I guess Midnight would occasionally like pull a prank by like making a shower of sparks in front of someone's face or something like that. Like eerie musical notes, like kind of creepy musical notes playing like next to their ear. Prestidigitation stuff.
Yep. And Naya's still got her mending, so she would just kind of work on mending stuff on occasion. Anything that we took with us initially that might have still been frayed is just slowly being worked on over the course of the journey.
All covered.
Wonderful.
Meteor.
Yes.
please have Princess make a con save for me.
Ooh.
Constitution save.
And meanwhile, I'd just be idly just unweaving my piece of rope and then weaving it back in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Would
Trying
that,
to get it perfect.
so for Princess, would that just be a con check?
If they don't have any extra bonuses, yes.
18.
Okay. Trying to think of how to describe it. Princess lets Midnight know mentally that she feels, or he feels, a little bit weakened, or like something is tugging on his energy as if he's being dissipated, kind of, but not really.
It's being suppressed.
Kind
of. Does it feel like
Sorry.
anti-magic? Or just...
He would
Not
describe it like you're trying to drink water from a stream, and he's the stream.
Okay.
So that's how it's making him feel. He notices it, but it's not making much of a difference to him right now. But he definitely feels that drain on his energy.
Midnight would have Princess convey that to everyone else as well.
Midnight would have Princess say that. Princess, like I said, Princess would describe it as, well, I don't know. Princess would probably say, it feels like somebody's sucking my life out, but it's really weak.
Naya will.
sucking my essence with a straw.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Naya will go over and
like it.
gently place a hand on Princess, and she will cast Sanctuary at first level.
Thanks, you're Lowry.
Oh. Now I'm all tingly too.
So anyone attempting to attack Midnight will have to do a Wisdom save with a DC of 13 in order to target Midnight.
Okay. I have that noted.
That is for things that specifically target a creature. If it's an area of effect, it doesn't do anything. Or if it's an AoE, it doesn't do anything. Doesn't help with those.
Yeah, Sanctuary is really, really nice for keeping people safe from individual attacks.
Right, and if and I'll indicate to Princess. Now, if you start a fight, this goes away, but until you try to do anything aggressive, that should keep people from specifically targeting you.
Dang it. I was gonna start a fight with you in a little bit, but I guess I can't do that now. Rats. He, like, mimics snapping with his wing. And no sound comes out, and he, like, tries a couple times, like, oh, I guess I can't do that, can I?
Naya's just gonna giggle and then flounce back over to Drema.
One of his wings turns into a hand, and then he actually snaps. It's like,
then it snaps.
Much better. And then turns it back into a wing.
But yeah. So that'll be active for a minute. It's not very long, but it's something.
Sorry, I had to answer a message on Facebook.
You're fine.
That way, if it's an active thing that has to be continued, there will be protection, but if it's an ambient, it won't. That way we know.
So, does that have any effect, then?
The Princess now has Sanctuary affected on him.
Well, does that feeling lessen while Sanctuary is active, or is it still present?
It's still present.
Okay.
Again, it's not strong to him, but he can definitely sense that something's tugging on his energy.
Okay. It doesn't seem to be helping, unfortunately.
Well, I feel like if whatever's doing that decides to take a more aggressive action, then it'll help.
Right.
Think of it as a security blanket.
That's fair.
So y'all stopping, or you continuing on for the day?
I'd say we keep continuing on and just
I say
monitor.
keep going, yeah.
Okay. So you continue on. Again, Colfax points out the silver-eyed rabbit on occasion. It's over there, and then it's over there, and at one point he says it's in two different places at the same time,
Eldritch Blast.
which he says seems really weird, but he is absolutely sure he saw two of them at the same time.
I wonder if there's multiple watching us.
He's very adamant of this. Could everybody please give me a perception check?
Okay. I will guide myself until you say I can't.
You are perfectly fine.
You're not noticing anything.
Nat 1.
I have a 10. Because I get to
Uh,
add the d4.
It still technically counts as a 1 since it was a nat
Well,
1.
is
1 plus
Firedale
4.
doing crit fails
Yes,
and crit successes?
ski-
Okay, I couldn't
Not
remember.
for skills. Skills are fine. If you roll a 1,
Oh
it's
yeah,
still...
true. Skills.
Yeah, this isn't combat yet.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yet.
That's fair.
When he says there's two of them at the same time, everybody's looking around frantically because he seems so adamant about it. And only Phelan pops up and says, he's right, there's two of them. There was one there and one there. But by the time she looks back, and by the time Colfax looks back, and everyone's looking there and there, there's no silver eyes to be seen.
I fire Eldritch Blasts at wherever they're pointing.
Okay, give me an attack roll if you would, please,
Okay.
with disadvantage.
8.
Okay. You fire it off. Again, the ground explodes like has happened previously,
Mm-hmm.
and
I'll
that's
do
what
another
you
one
see
for
in
the
the
second
distance.
one. So 14 for the second one.
You fire off the second one at the other one.
Yep.
Let's see. So that, then that.
I fire one from each hand. Both the
Again,
slots
that
are
one would
filled.
whiz into the forest, and then in the distance you would hear the explosion of the Eldritch Blast hitting a tree or the ground. It's hard to tell from the sound this far away.
I think you're hallucinating. Good talk.
I don't think anybody can do the Elmo voice.
Yeah, I'm sure Colfax would put up a fight of definitely not to definitely seen it, and Phelan would definitely have his back on this one.
See, even she saw it too. I mean, it's
Exactly.
right there. I mean,
Yeah.
Naya
do that so well.
Thank you.
Naya will set up an emboldening bond between Colfax and we'll say Kalina this time.
Okie dokie.
That's
Between
the
the lizard and the
magical
rabbit.
the magical D4 when you're within 30 feet of each other.
And how long does it last?
That one is for 10 minutes.
Okay. So he points them out. Y'all stop to throw those out. Are you continuing forward, or are you going to wait here for a moment to see if anything pops up? What are y'all going to do?
We'll keep moving,
Mm-hmm.
or at least Naya will. But Naya will ask the sprites
Mm-hmm.
to keep an eye out and let them know when they're getting close.
Okay.
To where they need to be.
Salin sets up on top of Naya's head and points down the road towards the trees and says, where the trees change color, that's where we have to go ahead and go in, and that's where we're going.
Okay.
And you can guesstimate that you can probably get there tomorrow at some point, as long as
But we wouldn't reach it
travel
by
is fine.
nightfall. Yeah.
Right. It definitely
Okay.
won't be there by nightfall.
Is there a safe place to rest before nightfall between us and there that you know of? And she's asking the sprites.
Nels would actually pop up and say, "Yeah, there's an old building that the humans made that we found on the way to see you. It's just down that way." And now that Nels has pointed it out, like by squinting your eye just right in the sun, you can see some semblance of a structure further down. You're pretty sure you can get there by nightfall.
All right, so I will change our course and head in that direction.
Okay, y'all start traveling that way. The sounds of animals as you are getting closer to this seem to be changing slightly. You are hearing the sound of like the foxes that are barking and the funky bunnies that are meowing, but the fox barks are starting to sound more like dog barks, and occasionally you hear what sounds like a bubbling noise
Hmm.
echoing from the forest around you. And this has happened like in the last day of travel between here and there. I'm just kind of summarizing what's going on. And so you're Naya, especially since she was pointedly listening for animal stuff. This is what's happening. There's actually occasionally you'll hear a bird flying overhead, and you'll hear it yell out "stupid" and keep flying as if nothing's going on.
Right, so there's very active wildlife, but it's strange.
Quiet.
Very strange. Birds are insulting us.
It wasn't me, I swear.
Midnight, tell your cousins to stop it.
No, I don't know him.
Or princess, brother.
He's not my cousin.
Yeah, so something definitely weird is striking you about the sounds of the animals going on. You've still not really seen any other than the birds, but Colfax has pointed out some tracks of animals, and some of them look a little weird, like some of them might have six toes. There's one that looks almost humanoid, but not quite human. It looks more like a monkey paw. Stuff like that. Things that are definitely not what you all are used to for being around here, and
A
definitely
monkey paw.
dun, dun, dun,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, don't
And
touch those.
the rest of the day, for the most part, passes without incident. You all make it to this structure, and it looks to be a wooden and stone structure that looks like a small road cabin off to the side. It does have a door that does not have any hinges, but it looks like it's made to be pressed closed or opened. There's no metal
okay.
hinges on it. You can see where there used to be like nails into the wall where the hinges would be, but they're definitely missing.
Well, we have nails.
No. Yeah, you also have nails.
And
And you have nails.
as we're coming up to it, Princess is finishing explaining to Kalina the difference between him and a bird. See, I'm not actually a bird. I just look like one. I know it's crazy. But
Is he
it's true.
waving his scorpion tail while he's saying this?
Yep.
Is he popping in and out of bird mode?
Yeah, he's like kind of transforming limb after limb and then reverting them back into his bird form. Normally
You're one
birds can't
weird
do
bird.
this.
You're
See?
a weird bird then, princess. I'll just
I
keep
don't
calling him a
even
bird.
flap my wings. They just sit there.
Yeah, I know you hover. That's even weirder.
Yeah, no, it's not a normal bird thing.
And you all make it, and someone peeks inside, and the sprites kind of like zoom because they're curious about everything too. They kind of flew by it quick, and before everyone else kind of looks inside, uh, the Salin pops up and says, "Hello, Mother Shrub. Fancy seeing you out here." And over in the corner, you see just a shrub that's kind of sitting on top of one of the chairs. It's got leaves and everything looks like a shrub, except the roots are dangling at the floor, kind of kicking in the wind.
Naya is going to
I eat it.
go inside slowly and like just barely inside, like in the doorway basically.
Uh-huh.
Not actually intruding yet. Is going to, like, based off of what the sprites are saying, going to kind of curtsy in the direction of the shrub and say, "Oh, hello there. We're sorry to impose, but would it be okay if we spent the night?"
And this shrub kind of shambles and wiggles itself off of the chair and is standing there fully uprooted and bows the top half of its body and then sits back into the chair.
Oh, Kalina. You think we can eat that?
Please
No.
don't eat our host. That would be rather rude.
This is in a whispered, hushed tone that
Yeah.
Midnight is saying that to Kalina.
Okay. Did
I'm
Naya
just
hear
gonna-
it? Is the question.
I'm gonna violently shake my head no. But I'm also gonna be looking really
Dragons.
wide-eyed at that.
The
I'm like-
shrub kind of wiggles as if it's being shaken by somebody. You know, as if you would take a tree, but a very thin, flimsy tree, and shake it back and forth. That's kind of how it looks in the sound of its leaves kind of rustling against each other.
Naya is going to offer one of the vials of tea to Mother Shrub and set it in front of them.
Okay, what did you say?
Offer one of the vials of tea.
Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna offer one of my vials of tea
Okay.
to Mother
Okay.
Shrub. I'm gonna place it in front of Mother Shrub and say, "A gift
Uh-huh.
for
And
your willingness to host us for the night."
it kind of bows the top half of its body again and lifts up one of its roots that kind of snakes up and crawls around a table leg nearby to reach up on top of it. And it kind of pushes the tip of that root into the cork where you've got the tea,
Mhm.
and it
It
sits
drinks it,
there
yeah.
and seems to be quite content to
Yeah.
absorb the tea.
Do I need to give a gift too?
I have us covered.
Who,
Alright.
out of character, who is the one who greeted the shrub?
Salin,
Salin? I'm gonna look to Salin and be like, who is Mother Shrub? Question mark.
she lives just outside of the large tree in the forest. Looks like she's been out today.
In your world
I've-
or ours?
I've never seen a shrub move like this.
Are we in the Feywild now? Did we cross over?
Salin kind of looks at you very confusedly as if what you're saying doesn't make sense.
My mind's just blown at the moment. I need to contemplate life for a minute.
And in the distance, you
And
hear a
Midnight just
little bit of
crouches down
thunder.
and just like with hands on her head.
In the distance, you hear a little roll of thunder. The sky's getting dark. You have a shrub in the corner who apparently seems to be quite content drinking tea and a quite welcoming stone and wooden cabin, as far as you can tell. There appears to be a spot for a fireplace. The fireplace actually has a large piece of metal that's on top of it. It's hard to tell what for unless you're smart enough to know what a stove is. Who's listening? Emphasis on gift. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was very distinctly
thank you for
indicating that the
hosting
vial
us.
was a gift,
Mm-hmm.
and very distinct emphasis when I said hosting as the expectation for that gift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I picked up on that.
Say things.
Apparently, Meter did
Fey
too.
things, yeah.
Say things.
And otherwise, it looks like
Fey
a
rituals.
rather a quaint side stop along a road, a nice rest place. the three sprites happily go in and sit on a table and start pulling like a little bit of stuff out of their pockets, a little bitty mini bedroll, and they seem like they're making themselves quite at home.
Okay, so I guess I will go in as well and bow and thank Mother Shrub for her hospitality.
Naya will interject before the word thank you comes out of your mouth. She will elbow you and shake her head.
I appreciate the hospitality.
Naya nods.
I appreciate the hospitality.
Oh,
You're
oh,
not-
yay for red tape. Fey red tape.
You're gonna have to explain to me the Fey red tape, please. After.
Naya
Thank-
will explain it later.
Thanking could be acknowledgement of a contract.
Yeah, I'll explain more off
Basically.
screen, but
Okay.
Naya will not say it in her hearing. But yes, thanking a Fae is to put yourself in their debt.
Yeah, they've obviously done something for you, so now you should be doing something for them, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not
But
they
we've
have,
offered-
you saying thank you is acknowledging a debt that you owe a
But-
debt.
We have offered gift.
Yes, I offered a gift for an
Yep.
exchange of a service.
Yep.
So I
And that's also-
appreciate.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Then
I'm
saying thank you on
assuming
top of that would be an extra.
It would be an unequal exchange at that point.
Yep.
Okay, so I appreciate the hospitality.
Yes.
yay red tape. So is everybody going in? I mean, Phelan would probably be a little bit hesitant and might even decide to stay outside. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask Allie what Phelan would do at this point, but I'm pretty sure Colfax would be more than happy to go inside
This
and
place is really nice.
right.
Is that a
And
I think
probably
Colfax is more
lots of
trusting.
compliments. Yeah. And
Colfax is trusting.
so if y'all are okay with staying here, at least for now,
Yes.
then we'll go ahead and call it for the night. This is a really good place to stop, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry that we ran
Okay.
over just a little bit.
I'd say
Just a little. It's fine.
So thanks everybody for stopping by for this 12th session
Yes.
of In the Demon's Grasp. I hope some revelations have been enjoyed and everybody's been enjoying our game, even though it's been off and on. I still appreciate people stopping by, and I really appreciate my players. They've been awesome.
Yes.
Yeesh.
And for those
Yep,
of you
thank
online,
y'all
and
for
thank you
dropping
so
in.
much
I'm
for
going to end
watching.
my stream.
Thank you for listening, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Bye bye
she cut
everybody.
out.